In the ancient and savage wilderness of southern Europe, long before the rise of modern man, there lived a race of primitive men, bestial in form but mighty in stature, who roamed the lands as both hunters and the hunted. In the days of Neanderthal man, the land was a vast and untamed wilderness, stretching endlessly beneath the pale sun. Southern Europe was a primeval land, where wild beasts roamed and the forests grew dense and dark. The great beasts of the Pleistocene epoch were the constant companions of Neanderthal hunters. To walk the land as a hunter was to confront death at every turn, for there was no safety, no refuge from the dangers of the natural world. For over 300,000 years, the Neanderthals inhabited much of Europe and Western Asia. They left a trail of genetic clues that have captivated modern scientists. The Neanderthals are among our closest extinct human relatives. Among the many physical characteristics studied, the presence of red hair in certain Neanderthal populations piqued researchers' interest and provided new insights into these individuals' genetic diversity. The discovery of the MC1R gene mutation, which is associated with red hair and lighter skin in both modern humans and Neanderthals, has been found two Neanderthal populations, those from El Sidrón in Spain and Monti Lessini, Italy. The discovery of the MC1R gene mutation in Neanderthal remains from El Sidrón and Monti Lessini has provided significant insight into Neanderthal genetic diversity. In mammals, the MC1R gene regulates pigmentation, which affects the color of the hair and skin. Mutations in this gene in modern humans can lead to a reduction in melanin production, resulting in red hair and fair skin. Because this gene variant was found in Neanderthals, it is possible that some of these individuals shared similar characteristics. During the DNA analysis of Neanderthal remains found at El Sidrón in northern Spain, researchers discovered a previously unknown variant of the MC1R gene. This variant indicated reduced melanin production. This mutation most likely resulted in red hair and pale skin, which may have been advantageous in Neanderthals' low-light environments, such as regions with long, dark winters or forests. This trait was not limited to a single region, but rather spread throughout a variety of Neanderthal populations, as evidenced by the discovery of a gene variant that was very similar to it in Neanderthal remains discovered in Monti Lessini, northern Italy. Although some Neanderthals have received a lot of attention for their red hair and fair skin, it is highly likely that these characteristics were only a small part of their overall genetic makeup. In addition, Neanderthals had a number of adaptations that allowed them to survive in cold environments. These genetic variants contributed significantly to their ability to survive in Europe during the Ice Ages. Their bodies were typically stocky and robust, and their limbs were shorter than modern humans, allowing them to conserve heat in colder environments. These physical characteristics were critical to their survival in the harsh environments in which they lived. Nonetheless, despite the fact that the environments of El Sidrón and Monti Lessini were vastly different, the Neanderthals had to overcome a number of distinct challenges in both locations. During the late Middle Paleolithic period, which lasted between 40,000 and 50,000 years ago, both regions experienced climate fluctuations. Glacial and interglacial periods influenced the landscape and resources available at the time. The El Sidrón cave system is located in the Cantabrian Mountains in northern Spain. This region has a cool, temperate climate and is known for its dense forests of pine, oak and other hardy trees. The cave provided shelter from inclement weather, which was particularly useful during the harsh winter months. This region would have once been home to a diverse range of plant and animal life, including species well adapted to the cooler, mountainous environment. These winters were especially harsh in this area, with temperatures frequently dropping below freezing and snowfall occurring on a regular basis. The Neanderthals who lived at El Sidrón adapted to their cold and forested surroundings. It is possible that their pale skin, caused by a mutation in the MC1R gene, gave them an advantage by allowing them to absorb more sunlight and produce vitamin D, which is essential for bone health in a low-sun environment. Meanwhile, the Monti Lessini Mountains, located in northern Italy, provided a slightly warmer and more diverse climate than the surrounding area. The region is located near the Alps foothills and has a diverse landscape, including river valleys, meadows and forest-covered hills. In contrast to the harsher climates of northern Spain, the Neanderthals who lived in this region would have experienced a variety of seasons, with colder winters and milder summers. The diversity of the landscape surrounding Monti Lessini provided the Neanderthals with a wide range of resources. Due to the presence of rivers and streams, water would have been available all year. Furthermore, the forests and meadows would have supported a diverse range of herbivores, birds and small mammals. Although the temperature in Monti Lessini was not as low as in El Sidrón, the Neanderthals who lived there still faced difficulties during the Ice Ages. This was especially true during the colder months, when resources were scarce. The Neanderthals who lived in El Sidrón and Monti Lessini were primarily hunters, getting the majority of their food from large mammals. However, hunting was not the only way they survived. They also gathered plant materials and used other resources available in their environment. Both the animals they hunted and the techniques they used to capture their prey reflected the conditions in their environment. The hunting strategies of the Neanderthals of El Sidrón reflected the fact that they lived in a region with dense forest cover. Neanderthal hunters in this area frequently hunted large herbivores such as horses, wild boar and red deer. Horses were a popular target for Neanderthal hunters. The Neanderthals relied on ambush tactics and close-quarters hunting with spears and other short-range weapons because hunting these animals would have been more difficult in dense forests than on open plains. The Musterian toolkit, which included hand axes, scrapers and pointed tools that could be used for everything from hunting to butchering animals, was one of their most important tools. Furthermore, the dense forest cover made it possible to capture and track animals over long distances if they were spotted. It is possible that Neanderthals used the natural landscape to lure their prey into enclosed areas where they could easily kill them with thrusting spears. The cold climate in El Sidrón had an impact on their dietary requirements as well. It is likely that Neanderthals who lived in colder climates relied heavily on large mammals' fatty tissues because they needed to consume more calories to keep their bodies warm all year. The skeletal remains of prey animals discovered at El Sidrón show that the Neanderthals ate all parts of the animals they killed, including the bones and marrow, which provided them with extra nutrients. The Monti Lessini Neanderthals, on the other hand, hunted a broader range of animals than other Neanderthals because their habitat was more open and diverse. In this area, the most important prey were aurochs, which are wild cattle, ibex, and red deer. Because these animals roamed the meadows and forest edges, the Neanderthals had to adapt their hunting techniques to the more open terrain. The use of game drives was one of the most notable differences between the hunting methods used in Monti Lessini and El Sidrón. Neanderthals in Monti Lessini may have driven herds of animals into valleys or natural enclosures, making them easier to hunt. It's possible that the use of projectile weapons, like throwing spears, was more common in this region. This could be attributed to the presence of more open spaces, which allowed for longer distance hunting. Neanderthals from Monti Lessini had a varied diet that included plant-based foods such as nuts, seeds and berries. This diet was known as the mixed diet. The more temperate climate, combined with the presence of rivers and streams, allowed for a greater variety of food resources than was possible in northern Spain's harsher environments. It is highly likely that Neanderthals gathered wild fruits and edible plants during the warmer months, supplementing their meat-based diet. At both El Sidrón and Monti Lessini, the Neanderthals' survival was heavily reliant on their use of technology, particularly the tools and fire they carried with them. The Musterian tool culture, named after the French town of Le Moustier, was widespread among Neanderthals, providing them with a versatile toolkit for hunting, butchering, and material processing. Neanderthals used Musterian tools made primarily of flint, which was widely available in many parts of Europe. The Neanderthals produced these tools using a method known as Levallois flaking. This method allowed them to create edges that were both sharp and durable. The toolkit included a variety of implements such as hand axes, scrapers, and points that could be attached to wooden shafts to form spears. researchers discovered evidence of tools used for both hunting and domestic tasks at El Sidrón. These tools included processing animal hides for clothing and scraping meat from bones. The presence of rivers and streams in Monti Lessini most likely provided access to high-quality flint, which the Neanderthals used to craft finely worked tools for a variety of purposes on a wide range of occasions. The Neanderthals had a number of other technologies that were critical to their survival, especially in colder regions of Europe. Evidence from El Sidrón and Monti Lessini suggests that Neanderthals were skilled at starting and maintaining fires. They were able to cook food, stay warm in cold climates, and keep predators at bay because they could control fire. It is highly likely that Neanderthals built fires near the entrance of El Sidrón's caves to provide warmth while also allowing smoke to escape. Fire also played an important role in tool production, because it could be used to strengthen wooden spear shafts or to process materials for a variety of purposes, including clothing and shelter. Perhaps one of the most important factors in their ability to survive in the colder climates of northern Spain was their ability to control fires. Neanderthals continued to use fire as an essential component of their way of life in Monti Lessini, where the climate was more temperate. They were able to continue hunting and gathering throughout the winter, providing them with a consistent source of heat and additional protection. The use of caves as shelters in both regions demonstrates the Neanderthals' ability to adapt to their environment and make use of natural landscape features for protection and survival. The Neanderthals of El Sidrón and Monti Lessini lived in very different environments. However, they shared many genetic characteristics, technologies, and survival strategies that allowed them to thrive, despite the harsh conditions of the late Middle Paleolithic period. The discovery of the MC1R gene mutation in both populations demonstrates that Neanderthals had a high level of genetic diversity. Some individuals had red hair and pale skin, adaptations that may have helped them survive in low-light environments. Both of these groups were exceptionally skilled hunters who used a variety of methods to capture large mammals such as wild boar, aurochs, and red deer, as well as smaller animals as needed. Their ability to control fire and use Mousterian tools were critical technologies that allowed them to adapt to their surroundings. These technologies enabled them to hunt, process food, and stay warm in cold climates. Lastly, the story of the red-haired Neanderthals in El Sidrón and Monti Lessini reveals the remarkable adaptability and resilience of these ancient humans. Despite the fact that their populations eventually declined, their genetic legacy continues to be passed down to modern humans, demonstrating that our species and theirs have a common history. Their story, though rooted in the distant past, speaks to the universal struggle for survival that has defined humanity from its earliest days. And though the Neanderthal race has long since vanished from the earth, their fossils remain, a silent witness to the savage and barbaric world that once was, and the men who fought to survive within it. Thank you for watching our video. Before you go, please subscribe, share and check out our other video narratives of the lives of ancient mankind. Also, leave a comment. Your opinions and feedback are important, and please be safe out there in this savage world.